welcome to the It's Live show. We're only 3 years late. Oh, you know what? Before we get into this, why am I launching into this? Is anything working? Is everything working? Is nothing working? Please, somebody give me some kind of indication. Some of you kind souls were here last night at 2 a.m. when I was testing, and you know what? It didn't go very well. It was terrible. But I think we got it fixed. I think we're okay. Let's see. Great energy, says Danny. Well, we'll see. We'll get that energy back in just a moment. In just a moment. Everything's working. Yep, I got the confirmation. Yes, this is good news, because I'll tell you something. It was bad. I couldn't get even like 1080p streaming yesterday. It was a lot of like this, and it was terrible. And I really wanted to do this live stream because, yes, it is 3 years late and about 25 minutes late. Well, listen, an hour ago, I was out like mowing the lawn. So let's just, remove the mystique. What's that? Oh, there was never any mystique? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was out mowing the lawn. I had to come in, have a quick shower, pick up my wife from work. I'm like, why did I set that stream for this time? This is ridiculous. But here we are. We got there. We got there. We all got there together. And that's the important thing. This is going to be hopefully a somewhat fast-paced, slightly, though, less manic, as we all calm down and compose ourselves, stream. I've got like a few different things. I was like, oh, this would be great for maybe a live stream at some point. So I'm kind of saving some things up to show. I got a few conversation pieces, things for us to discuss. You can feel free to fire questions into the chat. Now, here's the deal. If you're going to ask a question, those of you who remember from 3+ years ago, the live stream rules, you got to put question in all caps at the start of your question. That way, when I'm scrolling back through the chat to find the questions, they'll pop out at me and I can then answer your questions if you have any. Okay. I wanted to mention there's going to be a couple contests in this stream. So how the contests work is there's going to be links. Well, actually, there's links right now in the description of this video, if I've done this right. You'll find 2 links to contests. One called a Jesty Guesty contest, I think, and the other one is, I forget what the other one's called. I had it written down. I think it's written in here, maybe. 3 Years Strikes Back or something. The live show, Struck Back. Those are 2 contest links. If you click on them, they'll take you to where you can enter the contest, but you need a code word, and I haven't given that out yet. So there'll come a point in the stream where I'll sort of say what the code word is. It'll be a nice little reward for people who've stuck around for the stream, And then I will try to remember to do the draws for those contests by the end of the stream. The reason why I need your email address is just so that if you win, I can reach out to you to get your mailing address. So make sure you give me an email address that you check, including your junk folder. Make sure it's an address that you check regularly, because I will try to send out the prizes ASAP, i.e. tomorrow. Okay? All right, that's a bit of management. Let me see. I'm just looking here, see if I've missed anything. I had some notes. One of the notes I had for myself? This is an important one. Turn your mic on. How many live streams, those of you who regulars, have we started where it's just silence, me just shouting to myself? No, not this time. This time it worked. David Waldman asks, should Rodney switch to decaf? Interesting question. You could kick off a real topic there, my friend. Growing up, I was never a coffee drinker. That's not to say I never had coffee, but it wasn't something that my parents drank. In fact, my mother, over time, got further and further away from caffeine. Like, she would have tea, and then she went to lesser, less potent teas, and then to Postum. I don't know if anyone knows what Postum is. And then does that even exist anymore? And then from Postum to hot water with milk down to just hot water. So we were not a caffeinated family. I didn't even really have soda or pop growing up a lot. And so I just didn't have it. And then I didn't find the taste very good until I realized, oh, everyone puts sugar and cream in their coffee. So I had that for a while, growing up as a teenager or whatever, but never got in the habit, the routine. Well, long story short, too late for that, I went to Italy with the family. We had this wonderful vacation, and the the tour guide said, "Hey, would you like to have the world's best coffee?" And I was like, "Well, I wouldn't normally get excited about coffee, but he said the world's best. You don't say no to the world's best coffee, Like maybe I would say no to the world's best cocaine, but like coffee, sure. Let's try it out, right? So he took us to this little cafe, told me what to order, and I'll tell you something. It was a little espresso. It was incredible. It kind of blew my mind. It didn't get me hooked on coffee right away. I just was like, wow, that was impressive. And then it sort of stayed with me over time. And then I fell down a little espresso rabbit hole on YouTube because, believe me, there's a whole world there for a person to discover. And then I just had to it really drew me in. I just loved all the fussiness of it, frankly, the ritual and the fussiness of trying to prepare an espresso properly. And there's so many things you can do to mess it up. And believe me, I've done it all now. But yeah, I really fell down that rabbit hole. How did we get on this? Oh yeah, decaf. I should switch to decaf. Now, believe me, you won't believe me, caffeine doesn't seem to have much of an effect on me. If I have a coffee, I can go to bed. It's never had that kind of impact on my system. So I don't know how to describe this. I think it's just the excitement of us all being together again because it's been so long. 3 years. I have it written down here. May 21st, 2021 was the last It's live show. Why has it been so long? You know what? Life, I guess. I would just say life. The production schedule is pretty full already with other things, and so the live show was an easy thing to sort of try to find space and time somewhere, so it went away. Can't say this is now the return of it, but I was looking forward to, at some point, there'll be a time, there'll be a place, and we'll make it happen, and this is that time. So thank you all very much. I'm just going to take a quick look here at the stream, just to make sure I'm not getting any notes saying, Rodney, we haven't heard a thing you've said for the last 10 minutes. You just look very animated. Nope. Great. And 1440p is happening. Thank you, Sanjuro, for confirming. Oh, John Tripp wanting to know, question, can I win the contest? All right, I'm just going to unpin Lord Voss's great comment. Thank you for that. Rodney's never late. Time is just early. Ain't that the truth? I want to say hello, Amanda Panda. Nice to see you. Just a veteran of the live streams, Amanda Panda. Also a veteran of being in live streams themselves. So should I say hello to a few people? I think so. I'm not going to be able to hit everyone. Oh, Slivers, I see you there as well. I'm going to say hi to a few people here, and then we'll get into it because we got a lot we're going to go through. Oh, yeah, I got a topic I want to get to right off the bat. Hold on 1 second, though. Let's just say a few quick hellos. Can I do that? Oh, my goodness. It's just, hello, Daniel. Hello, Daniel. Hello, Mick Gowan, PW, Danny, Gable. Hello, Blackboard Gaming, Dwayne. Great YouTube channel. Check them out, Blackboard Gaming. Was just wearing the shirt the other day, Dwayne. Thank you for sending that. Slivers, hello. Good to see you. Danny, hello. Danny. Steve Nathanson. Great to see you here. Matthew Lawrence, Jason G. Scott Seward. Danny Gable, I think you got mentioned twice, Danny. One mic, one game. Nice to see you, Melissa B. Roger, Vince. A lot of people just chiming in. That's why I'm seeing all these various names, which is great. Ali Guru. David Waldman, did I say hello to you? If I did already, then I take back that second hello. If that was the first one, you can have it and keep it. Eric Gindelli, nice to see you. Dylan K. Roberts, Saleko. Listen, the rest of you, I'm sure your names will come up. Neo, Waterwind, hello, hello. John Stroman. Okay, I think Jester J. Joker. Well, Jester J. Joker, that's a great name to kick off a little introduction on one of the contests. Let me just tell you what one of the contest prizes is going to be for this in shrink brand new copy of a Jest of Robin Hood. For the longest time, I called it a Guest of Robin Hood. I mean, can you blame me? It's kind of what it looks like, right? I mean, if it was a J, I would have definitely said Jest, but it is Jest. Why is it Jest? I looked it up. I guess the term jest is, John Stroman, thank you so much for the kind support and the donation to the stream. That's very kind of you. Thank you. And hello to you too from Prince Edward Island. Nice to have you here. I guess jest is a kind of lyrical term that you may have in tales of adventure and that sort of thing, right? So that's where it comes from, because this is a tale of Robin Hood. And if If you've watched the channel at all over the last few years, you might have seen me fall down a little bit of a rabbit hole of war games. Kind of a return, actually, because I started my journey in the hobby through war games, games like Empires and Arms and Ambush when I was a teenager. And Cuba Libre is a coin game. Coin stands for counterinsurgency, which, again, the regulars here, even if you don't play them, should know that by now because I've said that so many times. It's a style of game where usually you have separate different factions, each with their own unique actions they can perform and objectives. If you've played or heard of Root, Root has quoted coin as an inspiration, and I think that makes sense. They can be somewhat complicated games. We have a tutorial and playthrough of Cuba Libre on the channel, and a Jest of Robin Hood is a two-player. Usually they're often four-player, but it's a two-player version that's meant to be a little more of an introduction. Well, it is, but I always want to caveat that. It's not like it's a walk in the park. Like there's still plenty going on. I have a full tutorial for it, so that makes me feel good. So if you end up getting this and you're kind of like daunted by the rules and everything, there's a video to complement it and hopefully get you up and running with the game. So yes, this will be a contest that will be shared a little later. A little later, I will give you the code word for this so you can all enter it, and then we'll do the draw later. First topic. Okay, so I have two sort of main topics I want to get into first. Just curious is raise your hand if you are going to a convention later this year, or even if you've been to one or more this year. Kind of curious to ask, and I'll tell you why in just a second. But while you're thinking about your answers and putting them in, I will be just scrolling here a little bit into the chat to see if anything here. It's just great to get a little feedback to make sure everything's working fine, but the stream says it's healthy. You're all here. That's great. Okay. Dylan says, Rodney, it seems like you're on 2 times speed. Aren't I always on 2 times speed? Don't you watch all my videos on 2 times speed? Okay. I wonder why they name games that are not common to the average player. So Scott Nelson asking, like, to put this in the title is, one could argue, a bold choice, a risky one, because the cover of any game, right, is kind of, for a lot of people, maybe the first path in. So if you're confused by the title, or you look at the cover and you think, what's all this about? That's not great for your game. It's a risky move to do something like that, to commit to a theme so strongly, or a vision so strongly, that it could be confusing for your audience. But I think war games often don't concern themselves with those things, traditionally. Have you seen war game covers? They've come a long way, actually, and I would say GMT has been a bit of a leader in that area. And like this is a beautiful cover. Let's just put aside the slightly confusing title for a moment, but a beautiful cover. And not only that, like the map for the board, also beautiful. The pieces, the art. I mean, art is always going to be subjective, right? Not everyone's going to like the same things, but I think this kind of art skews closer to what I think more people would enjoy compared to some of the things you might see typically in a war-style game. So I was asking about, oh, Jessica, hello there. Jessica saying they're a Newfie in Ontario, so Newfie is a little bit of a, I'd like to think an endearing slang term, nickname for people from Newfoundland. And Newfoundlanders have quite a reputation for being some of the friendliest people on the planet. Now, maybe a Newfoundlander would say, hey, listen, I'm a Newfoundlander. I can tell you it's not always like that. But Newfoundlanders that I know have been some of the just nicest, kindest, friendliest, most gregarious people you can imagine. So great to have you here, Jessica. Thanks for joining the live stream. So I was asking about conventions, and I see here Imaginaric has said, we have an Eric meetup at Sin City Con. Well, that's very cool. Excellent. And Lord Voss says, going to Can Con, 5 days of French ladies kicking. Okay. Can Con. I guess I didn't specify board game convention, did I? Maybe I didn't. You can all just tell me about all the conventions you're going to. Any good espresso conventions out there? I want to know. Let's see what else we've got here. Hello. Hey, Stephen Waffles. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Kirk, who was here helping last night during the late night live stream testing. Isn't this beautiful? Kirk, look at it. It all worked out. It all worked out. The reason I was asking because I really haven't gone to many conventions this year. I went to Aircon, which I love, a fantastic convention. If you're in the UK and you get an opportunity to go there, go there. Soon, tickets for next year's Aircon will be on sale for 2025. And like a convention I love to go to is Origins, just absolutely one of my most favorite conventions to attend. Always have such a good time there. And it's funny because I spend most of my Origins technically not at Origins. Like we tend to stay in a particular hotel just across the street. And it's an amazing hotel. There's this fantastic second level lobby. Should I be giving away these secrets? Probably not. Second level lobby area for playing games. And then we just hang out there and just play games the whole time. Everyone brings bundles of games, you know, and we just hang out. And of course, we'll go across to the hall and putter around there a little bit. But it's just very easy to get stuck in playing games. And I'll be honest with you, those are the conventions I like the most, where I'm going somewhere and I'm hanging out and I'm playing games, you know, with my friends that I don't get to see very often. So that was something I didn't go to this year. But I kind of made a conscious choice not to go to a lot of conventions this year. And I guess by not a lot, meaning none, basically, other than Aircon. Mostly to sort of keep my schedule kind of open, you know, so because the travel can be a little bit disruptive to the video production schedule. You know, you lose some time there. And then if you get sick or something, you come back, then that can also be disruptive. And I'm trying to sort of like find a slightly better work-life balance than maybe I've managed to achieve over the last few years. And I think that was helpful, actually. But I missed them. And I did make plans to go to one at the beginning of the year. BGG-Con, I said, end of the year, things can sort of slow down a bit. Like we're getting past the major sort of convention events, which does affect my tutorial schedule because there tends to be more tutorials to feature around those times. So BGG-Con is a convention I plan to attend. I thought I would mention that here in case anyone else is going. Is anyone else here in the chat? If you're going, I'd love to know. Someone mentioning PAX Unplugged. Steven saying, hopefully going to PAX Unplugged. PAX Unplugged is another fantastic convention. Really, like I think PAX Unplugged over time could grow to be a competitor to Gen Con, frankly. But great vibe, been there a couple of times, really enjoy it. Dice Tower East in Orlando says the Czar. I haven't been to a Dice Tower convention, but I bet you that's going to be awesome. I've heard good things. Scott Nelson saying went to Salt Con in Utah. Matthew, Cabalists for life, that's right, our friends at the Secret Cabal. We love them. And of course, at Origins, like it's just... the Cabal crew, I'm definitely hanging out with them the whole time there, and it's so great to be able to see them at that show. I really think of Origins as the Secret Cabal's convention. I know they don't have a con. They could have a con, but I think of that as theirs. That's really where I learned about that convention. They've always been so generous whenever I'm going, you know, to offer me a room or whatever. I'd like to stay with them, and it's been such a great time. So many memories and great stories from that con. Let's see here. Yeah, Brian's saying the cover of GMT Skies Above Britain is lovely. It certainly is. I had that game. And like I said, there's a number of them I think that are improving quite a bit. I think an attractive cover is important. Like for the reasons we were saying before, you kind of have to capture people's attention. It doesn't really matter how great the game is in here if they see the cover and go, well, remember, like the cover is not going to be in isolation. It's going to be in a sea of other covers, you know? So how do you stand out? How do you draw people in? How do you help communicate what this game is meant to make you feel, right? Important stuff. Wesley Waters said went to Gen Con. I was planning to go to Gen Con this year. I haven't been for several years. And again, it was one of those decisions I made. I think it would be better for my work-life balance not to go to Gen Con. But I would like to get back to Gen Con. Hey, Jeffy Todd, nice to see you. Thank you for the kind words saying you missed me at the shows. Yes, I hope to get back to some of them as I can find the right balance. Steve Waffle saying Rhode Island Comic Con. So it sounds like people going to different conventions. Oh, John Mendenhall, thank you for commenting on the vlogs. Yeah, so I used to do a vlog series over on another channel, youtube.com/Rodney J. Smith, all one word. And there's 50 vlog videos there. I committed to doing 100. And that's something else. It's been like 3 or 4 years since the last one. But I still plan to do those 100. Again, it's a little bit of a work-life balance thing. In fact, I was actually out the other day, and I started recording, not a vlog per se, but almost it was like practice, kind of. Just sort of seeing, like, is it time yet? And I resolved it's not time yet, but it will. I'll come back to it, you know. John Tripp, Secret Origins, yeah. There are many secrets at Origins, including the Secret Cabal. Let's see here. I think there was a couple questions. I just want to make sure I don't miss them before the chat gets too far away. And then we'll jump to another topic here I want to share. Daniel's saying, we do PAX U and Origins every year. Both are always great. But our first PAX U, we met you at the TGIB live show a few years ago, right? That This Game Is Broken. I remember that. That was a crazy show. A bunch of people there. It was really fun. It was really fun, actually, both at the show and then after the show. Because you just run into people there. Like sometimes, when you're sat at a table playing a game, you're not meeting as many people because you're in that game with those people. But it's kind of nice walking around the hall and meeting people who are just fellow gamers that you would never meet except for this hobby. So many like really important and special relationships in my life happened not just because of the games and gaming, but also conventions too. Where you meet people in person and you forge like a closer bond. And sometimes that starts in those 2 or 3 minute meetings you have with somebody. So, yeah, nice to meet you there, and I'm glad you had a good show. Drew Hines, crossing fingers that they can make it to PAX Unplugged. I hope you're able to make it. All right, I see a question here, and I might not answer all questions I get. Like, I'll have to scan them, and I'll have to make a judgment call. Like, is this question like a good one for this environment or whatever? If I skip your question, please don't take offense. It might still be a good question, but maybe just not something I feel I can engage in right now. Vince saying, I loved your discussion with Quinns from Shut Up and Sit Down a few years back. Thank you. I really enjoyed being able to do that with Quinns. That was a fun conversation, kind of retrospective that we did. I think if you were to Google search Quinns and Rodney, it would probably come up if you were curious to see it. It was a live discussion like this, except Quinns was there too, over on the Shut Up and Sit Down channel. And we both kind of hit doing 10 years around the same time, doing 10 years of this board game shenanigans, and had a little chat, a little walk down memory lane, and it was really kind of neat to connect that way. I mean, we've interacted a few times online and met at conventions and played games together, but we don't get to hang out very often. We're obviously in very different places across an ocean, but it was nice. It was a really nice conversation. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Any more plans for long-form interviews and discussions outside of live streams? No. One of the reasons for that, Vince, is you might have heard, there's like a recurring theme here, work-life balance, trying to find that right work-life balance. It's a challenge that everyone has to deal with in their lives, and it's one I certainly have to as well. And the more things I add into an already busy schedule, the more like everything sort of suffers, and it's tricky because you have like sometimes an internal ambition, drive to want to, let's do this or let's try that. Chaz introduced me to an expression that I just love. It's beware distractions disguised as opportunities. Sometimes a distraction seems like a cool opportunity, or you worry like, if I don't do that, I might miss out on this opportunity. But sometimes doing all the things really just kind of becomes a trap, And I've been very fortunate to get to do many things that I love doing, and I just don't want that to suffer. And sometimes like trying to do too many things can lead to that. Perhaps a more involved answer than you were looking for. But it doesn't mean I don't love the idea of doing it. I do. And I do hope in time, as I kind of find that healthy balance for things, that there'll be time to sprinkle little things like that in. Sort of like we're doing right here. Like I used to do table talks more regularly. Now I do them when the mood strikes, when I have a topic I feel really committed to, and I feel like I have something to say, and I have time, and rather than trying to like make it a weekly thing. You know what I do on a regular, consistent basis? I make tutorial videos for board games. That's the thing I love doing all of it, but that's my main driving passion. And so that's where I dedicate my time and energy to, and where I can try to sprinkle in these other things, because I love doing the other things too. And it's great having like the rest of the Watch and Play team to be able to help with some of those other types of videos that I can't get to, regularly. So anyway, lengthy. That's why I can't answer all the questions. See, it's take forever. Where are we at for time? Oh boy, the time is just going to evaporate here. It just evaporate. Imagine Eric asking, have you seen the cover? Eric, you forgot to put all caps question at the front of your question. Maybe you weren't intending that to be a question for me. Maybe it was a question for everyone here. If so, I take back the scolding. But said, have you seen the cover of Black Forest, a new Uwe game from Capstone Games? I have seen the cover. It does look gorgeous. If I remember correctly, it's kind of like this sort of blank kind of forest look. And it's very pretty. I don't know if it told me like what the game is from looking at it, but I was like, that's a nice piece of art. Thank you, Jimmy Capone. Thank you for the kind words. Very kind of you to say. Funky Fox Gaming wanted to know, do you still go to Stella's? I haven't been to Stella's in a little while, but I have been there this year. Yes. So let me just see here. I think caught up on the questions, which is great. And now, let's get to the next topic. Oh, here's the next thing I want to tell you about. So another reason why I thought about doing this stream is I wanted to explain something you might see pop up on the channel. So a lot of YouTube channels will have a button somewhere, I forget where the button is, somewhere below the video that says join, right? It's kind of like YouTube's alternative to Patreon. You can click there to join, and it charges you a monthly fee, and it's a way to support the creator that, whose work you enjoy or whatever. I've never had that on. We have a Patreon already. If you want to support the channel, that's the way we've set up for you to do that. If you would like to support the channel through Patreon, by the way, you can do that. There'll be a link in the description. But YouTube actually had a promotion going that they reached out to me and said, like, if you turn membership on, we will pay you a certain amount of money to like motivate you to do it. So just by virtue of turning it on, I am receiving some financial compensation for that. The reason that they look to financially incentivize me to do it is because if I turn it on and people join, then YouTube gets to take a little slice of that pie, right? They take, I think it's around 30% or whatever. So there was no downside to turning it on, only an upside for me. This is not a membership drive. Okay, just to be clear, I'm not asking anyone to join up or to become a member or join the community of Watch It Played. If you're here and you're watching, you're already part of it. Thank you very much. Now, they do have a complimentary thing that's happening during this, which is the first 100 people who sign up as members, they will basically match that. So let's think of it this way. If you've enjoyed Watch It Played, if you found it useful, helpful, and you would like to put a tip in the tip jar to support the channel, become a member, feel free to do it. Thank you for doing it. Whatever you donate basically gets doubled if you're one of the first 100. So that's a nice perk for me. But again, this is not aside from bringing it to your attention, this is not a hard sell, okay? This is just to give you some facts. Those are facts. And we can move on and won't come up again in this conversation. Now, I will tell you this. As far as like, there are some perks you can attach to it, like there's some emojis and a badge that goes beside your name if you do join. And we do have a Watch It Play Discord that is only open to our Patreon backers. So I did link that to this. So if you do go ahead and join, then you will have access to the Watch It Play Discord. And on the Discord there, we chat, we talk about the games we're playing, there's a hobby section, so if you want to see about my espresso journey, there's some stuff in there. We're actually right now live playing AI Space Puzzle. Meaning we're like kind of playing a remote game of it with the physical components. One person plays as the robot and sends the messages, and everyone else kind of like tries to figure out, solve the clues. And we got like a running game. We played 5 games of it in a row, and it continues. So if you become a member, what should happen, I don't know exactly how this works, but when you join, it should be a perk that you can click on. You might have to, I think I wrote notes here. I will try to explain this. If you go into Discord under User Settings, Connections, Join, there should be a YouTube option. If there isn't, it just means you have to turn it on. There'll be an option on there to say, turn on my YouTube connections, pick the option that says add accounts to your profile, and then boom, it should be there. And then you should be able to connect to the Discord. If you have trouble, if you can't, drop a reply on a community post here on YouTube, and I'll try to help you get it sorted. Okay, so that's that. Does that all make sense? Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, cool. If you have any questions about it, feel free. Yeah, John Tripp, yes, in an ideal world, exactly 100 people, and no more would join. But if you want to join, you want to get the cool little badge or whatever, feel free. But anyway, let's move on from that, and let's talk about. One of the things I wanted to mention, like we have a Watch Play Discord, and it isn't open. It's only open to Patreon backers, and you might be wondering, like, why put a paywall on that? Honestly, it's for practical reasons. Talking about that work-life balance thing, I don't have the bandwidth to monitor an ever-growing, expanding Discord. I want it to be something that there can be some care around in terms of like curating a comfortable place for people to hang out, talk about games, and enjoy themselves. And if it's just like anyone and everyone can join, well, it could it could take on a life of its own that requires much more attention from me than I can possibly give. And so this keeps it a little more intimate, keeps it a little more personal, and I'm okay with that. So thank you, Neopet, for look, we just got I guess it pops up on here. I can see when someone joins the members. Thank you for Neopet84. thank you for becoming a member. Thank you for throwing a tip in the tip jar and helping out there. That's wonderful. So Stephen Bonomo has a question here. How do you cut those amazing top 10 on the radar, etc. videos? They look like you're all in the same room responding to each other in real time. Thank you for that. That's a very kind compliment, Stephen, because that's very much what we want it to look like. I have to give the rest of the team and Chaz in particular a lot of credit here because Chaz does the editing and production on those episodes, and all of us sort of act as participants, and usually there is a core host, right? Like Matthew is the main host of People's Choice, Paul is the main host of On the Radar, and then Chaz is the host of Momentum and Board Game Buyer's Guide. But then we all participate, and we have the full script, so we understand kind of like what the storyline is, and I think it also helps that we've known each other for a long time, and dare I say, like each other. So it really helps kind of create that natural. We kind of understand each other's vibe a little bit, even though in those videos we sort of take on the role of I don't know, perhaps exaggerated versions of ourselves at times, slipping in and out between that depending on the storyline. We kind of know what that is, and so when I'm reading those lines, I am talking to Paula, even though she's not there and she's not recording at the same time as I am. It just feels like I can just feel the presence of it, So I think that really helps. Thank you again for the kind words there. Listen, I got a couple things I want to show you and unbox, and I got the. Is it this one next? Let's see here. Oh, you know what? No, contest. We're gonna do the contest. I'm gonna give you the keyword for the contest, and then we're gonna unbox something kind of peculiar. All right, that I was sent and kind of keen to show, and we also got like another big box we're gonna look at, but we're gonna look at that afterwards. I might have to do a slight overhead camera adjustment in a moment, but before we do that, let's start the draw. Okay, we're not going to draw the actual winner, but let's start the submission for it. Okay. Anyone joining right now, if you would like to ask a question that you'd like me to answer, the best thing you can do is before your question, put question in all caps. That way, when I'm scrolling back through the chat, which is moving, at a certain pace, it'll be easier for me to find your question. So if you've already asked a question and you haven't put question in all caps, feel free to re-ask it. I won't see that as spam, that's fine, and it'll help highlight that for me. So right now, because I want to thank you all for being here, I had an extra copy. So thank you to GMT as well, who in effect accidentally sent me this, I think, because they'd sent me one to do the tutorial video for. I had also backed this on their P500 system, because I was going to get this game one way or the other. Very lovely that it worked out. I could do a tutorial video for it as well. And so I then canceled my order. I said, it's okay if I cancel my order since you're sending me one anyway because I'm doing a tutorial video. I don't really need 2 copies. And so they said, no problem. But I think they forgot to actually cancel it. so I'd love to give it to you. So this is on behalf of our friends at GMT. Also on behalf of the great game designer, Frederick, Fred I just love and adore. I don't know him really well, but he's somebody I wish I knew better. He has a great YouTube channel, and he's a really clever designer, and one to watch, I think. So I'm always going to be interested in anything he has to do with wargaming, board gaming, or what have you. All right, so the key word that you have to put into the contest, and by the way, the contest is, in the description of this video, you should find one called a Jesty Guesty contest, or is it Guesty Jesty? You'll figure it out. You're all smart. There's a link there. You click it. You go to the link. You'll have to put your email address. That's just so if you're the winner, I know who to contact. I won't be using it for anything else. And you have to put the code word in, and the code word is Fred, because Fred is the designer of the game. All right, Fred or Frederick. Fred, F-R-E-D, okay? I have it in there as capital F and then small R-E-D, but caps should not matter. If you put all caps, it should work just fine, okay? But if you want to like match it perfectly, the keyword is capital F-R-E-D, okay? Is that, everyone got it? Cool? All right. And I will do a draw for it a little later. Maybe when I announce the next contest piece or whatever, we'll do the draw for this one, and then I'll give you the keyword for the next contest that's coming up. Okay. Let's see. I'm just going to look here to make sure everyone understands what's going on here. John Tripp. I think Giuseppe edits those videos. Good call back. Appreciate that. Thank you, Blackboard Gaming. I don't know if it's Dwayne or Alicia there in the comments, but thanks for the kind words on those videos. Park Pass asking, how did you develop your love for board games? Daniel said, suggestion, put the question formatting in a pinned comment. But then I'd have to like stop right now and type that up, and I'll do it anyway. Okay. If you have a question, please start the question with the word. I feel like already I'm saying the word question too much in these introductions. Start the question with the word question. Like, question. I have a question. Yeah, I've definitely said question too many times. I'm going to send that. I'm going to hopefully be able to pin this. Oh, the little emojis are getting in the way. Probably there's a typo in there. I don't know, but there it is. It's pinned. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. There was a question here. How did I develop my something, or rather? Wow, that went fast. How did you develop your love for board games? I don't know. How does that happen, right? Like, how do those things happen? I don't believe the idea that everyone's like, you can turn everyone into a board game. You just have to introduce them to the right game. No, I don't think that's the case. I think for some people it'll click and be a thing. Some people it won't, and that's okay. I think sometimes as gamers get a little too hot and bothered about trying to turn everyone else into a gamer. Borrowing this from my buddy Jamie from the Secret Cabal, but like he said it, and I 100% agree with this. You'll go to a get together with friends who aren't gamers, and you bring like 7 games, and like you come into the house like, hey, I brought some games for us to play. Like I just think that's tread lightly, because that's not necessarily what people are signing up for. There's good chance you've brought the wrong games. Not passing judgment on any one of you specifically, but one of you out there, you did. You brought the game you wanted to play, not the game that was good for that group in that setting. And I think we have to be careful, tread lightly. Now sometimes, because people know I'm into games, sometimes my non-gamer friends will say, hey, bring a game. And you know what I bring? The lightest thing you can ever imagine, like a just one. I bring a party game. I don't even bring necessarily like my best game or my favorite game. I bring the game that I think it has the highest chance of not causing their eyes to glaze over and for them to have fun. That's it. This is not at all answering your question of how, well, in a way it is. So how did I develop my love? I found games I really enjoyed right out of the gate. I was drawn to it as well. Like I was drawn to gaming. I realized this stream, I have to end it in an hour, and I could probably talk for another 5. This is a problem. I've told the story before. I will do the quick version of it. I saw a war game in a store called Empires and Arms, and I'd never seen anything like it before. The back of the rule book, the back of the box said an 80-page rule book, and no joke, I can't remember the exact number, but the number of minutes to play was something like 300 to 6,500. If you go on BGG, it's written there, so someone can like pop it into the chat, the actual. But like instead of running and screaming, which I would think would be a fair reaction to that information, I went, what? What could be in 80 pages of rules? What could this possibly be simulating? Like, what's going on inside of this box? Like, it made me fascinated. And the idea that the game would take that long, I'm like, so you must have to stop to take food breaks during this, or a nap. Like, the scope of it wowed me. And so I begged and pleaded my parents to help me buy it. And anyway, long story short, it just opened up a big world of imagination and excitement and thrills, and I just after that, just games. In and out of the hobby a bit, as I grew up and had a family and different demands of my time, but always just sort of had a natural love for games that way. And I can say honestly, now working in games for 13 years, I don't know how long, whatever 2011 is. So I guess 13 years. I love the hobby as much now, if not more, and I think that's such a fortunate thing, because I do understand that when you turn your passion, your love into your work, that could have a negative impact, and I've been very, very fortunate that way. When I have downtime, typically I'm like, is there a board game I can get out and play? I'm sure you know the feeling. Okay. I want to show you something. If I read questions, I'll never show you this. I got to show you this because this is the strangest thing. Let's change the view here temporarily. And remember, enter the contest. I hope you're all entering the contest. And if you are like, what contest? Hopefully a kind viewer can tell you what the contest is. Uno Elite. Has anyone heard of Uno Elite? Okay, I'm going to zoom in a little bit here because I just want to make sure you can see a little better. This is going to be out of focus, but hopefully we'll snap back into focus in a moment. I have a little card I use for focusing. Let's see if I can find it. This is the card I use. When I'm shooting my tutorials and everything, I use this card because text on a card, when you're doing a manual focus, I find to be quite ideal. When you have a very detailed surface, there, that snapped into focus, that goes away. Thank you, Merlin, for your kind help. I wish it was a Donald Duck card because Donald Duck's, the best Disney character. Okay, Uno Elite. Has anyone heard of this? This is, first of all, let me just say up front, this is a promotional copy that was sent to me. They reached out and said, hey, would you have an interest in this? And because it sounded so strange to me, I was like, yes, I'm interested. So there's no money changing hands. I'm not getting paid for this. I'm not going to review this. I wanted to show it to you. And I was intrigued. I do plan to play this. And I do hope at some point to actually do an Uno tutorial video. Uno is a game I played growing up. I've done Monopoly on the channel and Risk and Clue, and Uno is one I'd actually like to do, and I have some special plans around that. Regular Uno, not necessarily this Uno. Okay, let's see what's in it. Okay, first of all, there's a promotional, like, Rodney, here you go. Thanks for picking this up. There is, oh goodness. There is my Uno Elite jersey, of course, which I suppose I should put on for this segment, right? Oh, look at this. I hadn't actually pulled this out. Wild card. Yeah, I'm the wild card, all right. This is really going to mess up my microphone. Apologies for, this is probably not going to fit me. It's going to be the issue. Sorry for the noise. This is going to be really bad. Okay. Oh boy, this is a tight shirt. Okay, so can I get the microphone up here? All right. Wow. I said, they're getting their money's worth. And by money, again, no money's changing hands, but I'm now wearing Uno Elite branding. Here we go. Let's go back, take a look at this. So here's what comes in here. Oh, this box. Look at this. They put turf. All right. Points for doing a little promotion. So this is what kind of got me. These are still in shrink, all right? Uno Elite Draft Play Win. Draft? And I was like, well, okay, so what are we doing here? Let's find out, shall we? All right, so this is what came in this promotional box. This is what they call a starter pack. This is what they call a draft pack. I'm realizing I don't have a knife to cut the... Y'all mind if I do something very super unprofessional? What's that? Oh, there's already been a series of unprofessional things? I understand, okay. I just got to step away and get a knife, because otherwise this will take an hour just trying to get into this box. I'll be right back. This will only be a moment. I wish I could put up my interlude screen. My mic is still on me, so you can come with me. We're going into the other room, where I believe I have a knife. Yes. There we go. We're coming back. I never really left, did I? I'm like still here with you, in your ears at least. Also, just thank you everyone for being here. Really wanted to do a little It's Live show again. A little nervous, honestly, doing it, because it's been a little while. It's like, do I remember how to do this? So thank you for being here and joining me. It's fun to be talking with you. Okay. Still, even with a knife, I'm having trouble. All right. Anyone want to take odds on bleeding on this table before the night's out? Okay, let's open it up. Let's see if we can get a sense of what's in this box. All right. Downset deal, it says. Okay. This hard-hitting game combines the challenge of classic Uno with the excitement of NFL football. Draft players onto your team. Okay, interesting. And watch their actions kick traditional gameplay up to the next level. Create your lineup, so each player has their own action. Oh, okay. So we have pictured players on some of these cards, and then they have, I'm seeing like, it'd be much easier if I was actually showing you cards, I suppose. But they have what looks like unique actions. So maybe you draft one of each color. Well, there's no red in this lineup, but you create your own lineup. Oh, maybe, okay, so there's this card with a star, okay? So maybe when you play a blue star, you trigger your blue effect. You know, a better way of explaining this to you would just be to look inside the box and find out. But yes, that seems to be maybe what it's saying. So you would create a lineup from the cards you have. Like, I'm going to bring these 3 football players in, and I'm going to compete with you with this lineup. All right, I think that's what I'm hearing here. Okay, so 112 classic Uno cards are in here. Oh, I suppose the starter pack gives you the cards you need to play regular Uno, plus it says 56 randomized NFL player cards. All right, it's 2 to 7 player game. No solo mode. I knew some of you were going to ask. So we have a sealed product, not for resale. Okay, wouldn't dream of it. We've got the rules, and then we've got this box. And it's here. I got to see what this is. Remove for card storage. Oh, I see. Okay, so little dividers, you can slot them in sideways. That's all right. That's cool. That's cool. So let's see what we got here. I might have to take a little rules reading break so I can figure out what the heck this is, but let's just get a little view. So this is like a plus, it looks like +1, it says. There's like skip a turn, +2 cards, skip a turn. Oh my goodness, +1, +1, +1. Interesting. Okay, so we have a +1, and then it looks like maybe that's exchange 2 cards. Okay, so there's all these. Oh, what was that? Everyone draws 2 cards, and then the next player skips a turn, I'm guessing. Don't know what that is. Go again, maybe. That's probably go again. I gotta say, I don't hate this. I don't hate the concept of it. Like, if you're gonna take Uno, and you want to add a little extra layer onto it, and you don't want to, you got to think about the target audience here, right? It's not going to be Vital Lacerda crew. This is maybe not like an extra layer of complication, but it's a little extra layer of flavor, right? A little bit of decision making. I'm going to bring these powers in, although I suppose there's going to be a rarity situation here. Like, there's going to be some of these effects are arguably clearly better than others, right? So would you ever bring this one in when you could bring that one in? Probably not, right? Let's just take it. See if we can very quickly understand how this works. Setup. Choose player. Deal 7 cards to each player. Place the remaining cards. Okay, flip. Deal 8. Okay, here we go. Deal 8 NFL player cards face down to each player. This will be their individual player deck. Okay, so that actually helps solve the rarity thing, because you don't pick specifically, oh, I'm going to bring these 3 amazing cards in. Set the remaining player cards aside, they won't be used. Each player shuffles their individual player deck and then flips over the top 3 cards of their player deck, setting the cards in a row in front of them to form their lineup. Leave space up nearby for a face-up player discard pile. Note each player card has a color, red, blue, green, yellow, associated with it. All right, that's not what I expected. I thought you were going to be like maybe drafting your team, which you could certainly easily do, right? We know all about that. Let's just jump to the elite icon. So it says, if you play one of these cards, it allows you to activate the power of one of the player cards in your lineup. And you can only activate it if it matches the color. For example, if you play a red 3 card with an elite icon, you may activate a red player card from your lineup. Okay, makes sense. And then you place it face up in your player discard pile. When you're done, draw a card from the top of your player deck to refill your lineup. If your player deck runs out, do not shuffle the discards to form a new deck. Use recover action cards, see action cards, to get player cards back into your player deck. Recover. So there's a symbol here for recover. And then, oh, look at this. There is a draft mode. I want to say, thank goodness. Right? Because, again, I could see maybe them going, this is too much to complicate for the target audience. But this is how you do it. You give people the very simple deal 8 cards, off you go, and then give them the option. Educate them a little bit about the drafting mode of play. Well done. Drafting mode, a dynasty mode. Each player must have their own set of NFL cards. So now you can do a little bit of like building, player deck construction rules. And we have foil cards, and there's actually cues here for colorblind players. Got to give them credit for that too. I don't know if that's standard in all Uno games, but here in the corner, blue is a blue square, and we have green as a triangle. And a little player reference. That's smart. All right, you know what? Okay. Uno Elite. Let's open up this little sealed pack. Let's see what's in here. All right. Woo! Some fancy, fancy schmancy foil. I know nothing about football. Just see, I mean, I understand a little bit about how to play, but I don't follow it. I don't know any of the players. So you'll have to let me know, football fanatics, if these are great players or not. We got another one. So what are some of these symbols? So this is the everyone symbol. So that makes everyone draws one card. This is swap. Everyone, these two-player swap card. This is going to be 2 skips. Yep, 2 skips. And this one is, what's this one? It says skip, but it's targeted skip, I think. That specific symbol is shown here. Like, I wonder if it's like you pick someone and say, like, you are going to be skipping your turn when it comes to your turn. I wonder if that's what that means. Well, there you go. So we've got green, so a red foil, a green foil, a blue foil. Oh, look at this. So this is 2 different colors, right? So we get yellow and red. So you can play it triggering probably either off of the yellow or red star card when it's played. Well, there you go. I really just kind of wanted to show because I was also curious myself, and I thought, that's different, right? That's kind of unique. Probably not going to see a lot of videos made for this one, and I thought that was kind of cool. Let's take a look actually inside this draft pack, and then we'll get on to the next thing. Because goodness gracious, we got things to do, people. But I have to admit, I'm kind of curious. So I wonder if I think in the starter pack that I just opened, the only thing that's randomized is that little pack, right? They throw in one of those little random packs. Now this says 56 randomized player cards. Which ones will you get? There are 4 randomized foil cards. Collect them or use them in a game. Add new players to your existing, yada, yada, yada. Okay. Okay, so I guess you're guaranteed 4 foils in these packs. This is a big, chunky pack. Like normally you think of a booster pack as being like, what, 15 cards or something like that? They're not skimping on you. All right, uh-oh. Don't want to rip this. Wow. Oh, I thought the whole thing was in this wrap, but it's not. Okay. Oh, look, a little tiny player reference. Little reminder of the 3 different ways of playing. And then we've got our randomized player cards. So this should just be player cards, right? There's no need to have the regular basic cards in here, so this can just be players. Okay, neat. And then, of course, we want to see what's in the special foily pack, right? Sealed product, not for resale. So we got Joey Bosa. I don't know what that symbol means. Oh, that's discard. But I think this one with the targeting symbol, again, means I pick somebody. I say, hey, you at the table, you're discarding. This, and then this is a peek. I'm assuming peek means look at their hand. I wonder if the rules indicate if you can do these in either order, because you might, oh, you've got a really good hand, I'm going to force you to draw one, you know. We got another double. So yeah, I think this is like basic foil, and this is like a special dual foil. Neat. I had written down one thing. I guess there's like 2,118 cards in the set, and like around 192 players, and then every player has multiple versions. A green, I think they each have like in each color, and then a foil of each color, and then the dual color foil as well. And it's available at Walmart. So listen, Mattel, thank you for sending that along. Curiosity got the best of me. I don't mind saying. So I hope you enjoyed. And I see Craig saying here, sold at Walmart and Target. I'm going to jump up here. I'm going to look at some comments, some questions, and see if I can quickly answer them before we get on to the next thing. You know what I think I'll probably do is, will I draw the contest for Jest of Robin Hood? Probably, right? Right? And then I have another contest coming up. All right, let's try to clean up a little bit here. I'm going to take this shirt off. Prepare for some more noise in your ears. Turn down your volume. This is your chance now. Oh, goodness. Okay, it's getting a bit chaotic here. Here we go. Disconnecting the mic. You know, I could mute. That would be the kind thing to do. Ugh. All right. Let's look at some questions. If there's any in here. Oh, get a little, what's this little note? Okay, got it. Sorry, I was just filtering, and now I've lost my place. Oh, great job, Rod. Don't worry, I'm getting it back. I'm getting it back here. Oh, here we go. I'm back where I should be. Looking. Oh, Board Game James asking how much sound treatment is in the recording room. Oh, you probably noticed when I walked out of this room and went into the other room how much of an echo there was. Is that where that came from? Quite a bit. There wasn't always. Judy from the Nerd Shelves. Hi, Judy. Nice to see you if you're still here. Oh, my goodness. Gotta go. If you're not subscribed right now, can I get you to go over, subscribe to Fred's Wargaming channel, Dwayne's Blackboard Gaming channel, and Dwayne and Alicia, and also Judy at the Nerd Shelves. They have a fantastic channel. You know, Judy, on my, if you're there, I'm sorry, I will answer the other question. Just Judy interrupted very rudely. Judy, it's on my bucket list. I want someday to be able to hang out with you and play a game. I just think you guys would be a blast to hang out with. I hope that will happen someday. Okay, let's see here. Sound treatment. So I have a couple like homemade little baffling things I hung up, and then I did buy some treatment for the walls and the ceiling. And I have a little rug on the floor. It makes such a huge difference. I didn't always have those extras. And sometimes when I go back and I'm answering comments on older videos, it'll start playing and I'll hear like, oh yeah, there was more echo than I realized. Because I tried to get as good as I could, and then you sort of stop hearing it, you know? But when you have a comparison, whew. All right, let's see here. Just looking down, down. Kirk wanting to know, how long will it take for the EMTs to arrive? Well, I do live in a smaller rural community, so I'll probably bleed out. Okay. So Mark Shaw has a little bit of a technical question. I tend to avoid these because they're such a specific, narrow question, but I'll answer it because I can do it quickly, and I appreciate you being here, Mark. I'll try to be quick with this, everybody. If you don't mind sharing, what camera mic setup do you use when filming? I use a Sony a7S III camera. That's what's here. Overhead is an older Lumix GX5, so when you're getting the top down, that's what that is. And my microphone is a Sennheiser, the EW100G3. Okay, and I'm very happy with all of those related products, and I don't have an Amazon store or something, so I'm not saying them to promote them to try to sell them to you. They've worked for me well. I don't recommend them as starting equipment. I just think it can be a real trap that people fall into when they decide to do some YouTube stuff to like get all the best gear. I don't advise it. Find out first that you love doing it, because the best gear in the world isn't going to make it fun to do. Because it's ultimately work at the end of the day. It can be fulfilling work, but don't spend a bunch of money. Use what you have. Maybe spend a little bit of money. You want like maybe decent audio, decent video, but you can probably get that with your phone, frankly. And the main thing is make sure you love it, you know? Okay. Just looking through the rules. Looking through the rules. Looking through the questions. Rules are always on my mind. Andrea saying, anyone know the video where Randy, I'm thinking you might mean Rodney, but that's fine, talks about hoarding board games and how we should play what we already own? Well, I don't know, that's interesting. I wonder if I would have come across so strongly, so conclusively that you should just play the games you own and not buy new games. Because I don't, today anyway, I don't think I would hold that stance. It's your money, do what you want to do with it. But my feeling would be, if you are somebody who wants to enjoy and play your games, if your sense of satisfaction doesn't come from being a hoarder, but from playing games. And hoarder's dismissive, I don't mean it that way, because there's nothing wrong with collecting games. But I see some people struggle. I'm one of those people where I'm not having fun having a whole bunch of games, like just having endless amounts of games, if I'm not playing the games I have. That to me, I feel at a balance. I feel like, what am I doing here? I don't want a museum of things. I want games I play, you know? And for some people who feel the same way, I would say, resist that urge to buy the new thing. Try to get that game that you want to play to the table, get that instead, you know? I don't want it endlessly. I have a certain number of shelves, and I feel very fortunate to have the collection I have. It's more than what most people would have, I'm sure. But I want to keep my collection to around 300 games. That's it. I don't want 700 games. I don't want 1,000 games. And if you do, that's awesome. Great. Very cool. So that's why I like caveat that. I hope it didn't come across saying you shouldn't. It's just all about like, what's your mindset? What are you looking to get out of your collection? And when that starts to become a drag, pay attention to that, you know? Because I feel like some people do burn out on the hobby from that feeling of drag. I'm not getting from this what I want. Maybe there's a little introspection required. Have you become a bit of a collector as opposed to a player? You know what? I bet you I know which video you're thinking about now that I'm talking long enough. You won't find it on the Watch It Play channel. Back when Watch It Play and Board Game Geek were working, we had a partnership. We were working together. I was making videos and posting some of my table talk videos over there. So that video, there's a table talk and a table talk back about that subject. Okay, wow. This is why we need 5 hours, and we don't have 5 hours. We have 40 minutes. Danny says, question, can you teach us how to play Fire in the Lake? No. Fire in the Lake is I will say, a fantastic coin game. Knowing that you know I don't like giving opinions on games. But I really do enjoy coin games. That cat is out of the bag. But it's one of the most opaque ones I played. Meaning, I learned the rules, played the game, did not know what I was doing. It really didn't feel like I understood my strategy. And I've played a number of coin games where even with the first time, as I'm playing, I get like a growing sense of, oh, I see what I'm supposed to be doing here. Fire in the Lake, I did not, even by the end of the game, really understand that. So I won't be doing a tutorial for it, but it's a very interesting game. And one of the favorite coin games out there, of coin aficionados, Fire in the Lake's one of the ones people rave about. Vince says, how do you feel about dreams of pursuing a career in small business pertaining to board games? Go in with eyes wide open and take small risks, not big risks, is what I would say. How do I put this in context? I was very fortunate when I started Watch It Played. I had the bandwidth, the time, and the financial security in that moment to try something. I didn't need it to work. And if it hadn't worked, I wouldn't have tried to force it to work. Does that make sense? Like it wasn't a do or die situation for me. I was going to be soon going back into the workforce. I was a stay-at-home dad. And I had this window to sort of play. And when I started it back in 2011, I did feel a very quick sensation of, oh, I might be doing the thing that is, I don't know how to describe it. Like, this is drawing in a number of my interests and maybe even a little bit of some ability I might have. You know, it just felt like it was tapping into a number of things that made me feel useful. And so I wanted to pursue that in a more serious way. Talked about it with my wife, and she's like, well, look, let's give this some time. I can see the passion in your eyes. Let's see if we can make this work. So she was a massive support to me in those early days because there was no financial way to make it work early on. And then kind viewers, like many of you have done in the past, supported through fundraisers I ran, and it just allowed me to kind of keep going. But I always worked within the capacity I had at the time. Again, sort of to my earlier advice, I didn't run out and buy all the best equipment, buy all the best gear, and I have seen that advice being given out by other like board game media people, and I think that is an easy thing to say if you have that kind of disposable income, but if you don't, like you're throwing someone in, I think, into a trap potentially, and I would never advise that. If you have the means, then fine, whatever, but my caution would be thoughtful. And if you're trying to like launch a small business, I don't know what kind of small business, again, I would say invest wisely, beware again, distractions disguised as opportunities, and try to do one thing really well. And also try to understand why you're doing it. You know, do you have something to offer to the community you're going to engage with in your local area, or if it's something online with an online community that you can be of use, you know? Yeah, I don't know if that was, anyway, that was helpful. Sorry, Vince. Okay.
Funky Fox Gaming, any thoughts on a mini reunion play of Mansions of Madness or Wrath of a Shardalon or related games with Andrew and Luke when you hit 20 years on YouTube? Wow, what a neat idea. I would love to do something like that, actually. Always happy to just kind of revisit those classics. It's funny, I had someone ask a question on Wrath of a Shardalon just like a couple weeks ago, actually asking a rules question, or rather saying, hey, I think there's a mistake in this video. And I would say like some of the earlier videos were certainly more prone to them because I wasn't approaching them with the same kind of rigors I do now, the tutorial videos. I mean, I was always trying to get the rules right, don't get me wrong, but now it's like a line by line, word by word analysis of the rule book when I'm working on a tutorial video. And I'm scripting and all this stuff that I wasn't doing as strictly before. So there was a spot where I kind of misspoke and I was like, wow, look at that. So, pinned a note, added something to the description, but it's like wild, like 13 years ago, and the video is still being watched, and someone helped by finding an error there that had gone unaddressed. Jalal asking, can you please make a video about Labyrinth of War on Terra GMT, please? I get asked from time to time, will you make a tutorial for game X or whatever? And I have this sort of default right into my keyboard. I just hit, what is it? I think function G, and it just spits out, thanks for the interest. I talk about that here, and it takes the person to a link. An old video I made just sort of addressing why I don't pre-announce what games I'm going to do or work on. Because I've done that before, and sometimes I had plans to do a game, and then life happens, things change. So I just don't like to disappoint people. So I just generally don't talk about what games I'm planning to do until I'm at the scripting stage. I just saw, before you play, hey, is that Monique or Naveen? Hello, hello, hello. Saying, hi, Foster the Meeple. Is Foster the Meeple here, Jeff and Jamie? Hello, hello to you. Another great channel, by the way, Before You Play. There's another one. Got to recommend it. You got to go over to Before You Play. What, you're not subscribed already? What's going on here? Get over there and subscribe. I demand it. I insist. And Foster the Meeple, please. Okay. Stephen Waffles asks a question that I've never been asked before. Do you ever get the urge to teach strategy, not just the rules? Never. Never for a second. I have zero interest. I want to teach you how to play. I do not want to teach you how to play well. I think there are people who love that, though. Like they love digging into a game and like kind of like figuring out the strategies and dissecting it, and could be really good teachers of it. But I would not find that creatively fulfilling. I don't think, I've never tried it, so who knows? There are exceptions to every rule, Stephen, right? There's probably like this one game that, like maybe there'd be a coin game where like, well, I actually like to really kind of talk about this and why I do this with this faction. But as like a concept of something I would do on a regular basis, no. It would, yeah. I don't even really like enjoy doing it in person at the table. It depends. It depends on how fresh off of the game we are and who won and who lost and how people's feelings are about that. Sometimes people will get into the strategy discussion. Yeah, this is a bigger topic. This is actually a bigger topic, probably for a table talk or something around that. Like the post-game analysis and how some of those conversations can be challenging, frankly. Depending on how the gameplay went, I don't know. It's a deeper conversation, so I'm not going to even try to like describe the conversation, but there's an interesting topic there. I need to write that down. Tony just wanted to know, like, how are the kids doing? The kids are doing great. Luke's in university. Andrea's long since out of university and working, and just actually moving to a new job, and is in the video game world, and very proud and excited of both of them. Couldn't have done the channel without them either. Let's see, how are we doing for time? Okay, we got half an hour. VR Demon says, have you ever thought about designing your own game, or have you ever worked with a team to create a board game? I was going to give you an answer, and that answer I was going to have to immediately deny, like say it was not true. My immediate gut reaction is similar to what I said to Stephen Waffles about, would you want to talk about strategy? No, I don't want to design a game. But that's not true. That's not true. Growing up, I designed a whole bunch of games. I really enjoyed that, like trying to think about how to design. RPGs actually was the main thing I was interested in designing, and TCGs. But I don't really have that drive. Now, that said, I have been following a little bit of a path over the last year, here and there, on actually designing a game with some friends. But it's honestly been on the back burner for me. Again, part of that work-life balance thing and opportunities, distractions disguised as opportunities, it all kind of fell under that. But I do hope to get back to it, and because I think we have kind of a neat idea for something. Anyway, there's your answer on that. You know what? I think we should get on to the next thing. We should draw for the game, announce the next contest, open the next box, and then see where we're at. Right? Right. Thank you all for being here. Thanks for putting up for my long-winded answers to questions that I ultimately probably don't really end up answering in any kind of significant way. All right, so let's take I'll do a quick little refresh. I'm trying. A little refresh on the page. Okay, I am ready to do the draw. How do I do it? I've got to remind myself. It's been a little while. I think it's this button. Yeah, here we go. So, oh, I got to get my face out of focus. Can you see? Okay. Oh, it's really struggling. Let me, I think if I turn the brightness way down, it'll actually help quite a bit. Yeah, that's better. So I'm going to hit draw the winner, and it's going to randomly draw one of the winners. There we go. Okay. Marios, you are the winner. You're the winner of me mispronouncing your name, and you're the winner of the game. I'm not sure if it's Marios or Mario, but you just won a very jesty-guesty version of Jest of Robin Hood from GMT Games, and myself, and Fred. Thank you for entering. Thanks for being here. I will, after the stream, send you an email. Please check your junk folder, because I would love to get your information ASAP, because I would love to get this in the mail to you tomorrow. All right? How does that sound? And I didn't mention this, but this contest is worldwide. I will ship it anywhere, come hell or high water. I don't know how long it'll take to get to you. I won't be paying for like expensive shipping, but I will get it to you. All right, I got to save the winner. Can't forget to hit that button. Okay, let's talk about the next contest. I want to talk to you about the next contest. Let me just see here. I have my notes. So the next contest, I will tell you what the code word is for that contest, right? If you go to the contest that is called The Live Show Struck Back, the reason it's called that is because the next thing we're going to open up here is this very cool big box of Star Wars Unlimited, which I'm going to have to zoom out for because this box is a little bit bigger than the other. This also, I'll just say up front, again, was kindly sent to me by Asmodee. I did a tutorial video for Star Wars Unlimited. Where is my little focusing card? Come here, Merlin. There, Merlin has magically appeared and will help me focus. Beautiful. Thank you, Merlin. Off you go. Star Wars Unlimited really got me excited about CCGs again. Again, just to be upfront, full transparency, I was paid to do the tutorial video. One thing about my tutorial videos people may or may not know is, yes, I get hired to do them, but I only do tutorial videos I want to do. I am, I would say, in a fortunate position that there are more tutorial videos to do than I can possibly do. So I pick games that, it doesn't have to be my like most favorite game ever, but I have to like something about the game. You know, I'm going to be spending a lot of time with the game, not just in making the tutorial video and that process, but I am committed to answering every question on every video I've ever made for the last 13 years. So I've said this before, this is my little song about this. If I was answering questions, rules questions on games I shot a video for 7 years ago and I didn't like that game, like, this wouldn't be a smiling Rodney you'd have on the live stream today. He'd be a very sad, sad boy, right? So it's really important to me that I like something with the game. And Star Wars Unlimited, boy, did I dig this design and how this game plays. And I wish my lifestyle supported me being able to play these games on a more regular basis. But anyway, let's take a look at what's in this fun little pack. We'll just open a couple of little things, all right? And the prize, by the way, we were doing a contest announcement. The prize is in here. So let's open it up. I'm not giving you the whole thing. Come on now, settle down. Settle down over there. But I thought what would be fun. So this comes with, there's a little promotional thing. We'll just toss that out. This comes with a Star Wars Unlimited 2-player starter box. I thought this is the perfect thing to give away. Because if you haven't played, this will give you everything you need to start playing. As I recall, there is a fold-out mat in here. At least there was in the first one. Let's see. 2 play mats, posters, 2 folded deck boxes, 110 cards, the counters you need. The counters are not a very high quality, but they'll suit you. You can replace them very easily with something else. And quick start rules. And the quick start rules are excellent. I also have a full tutorial video, so you can watch that and get stuck in it really in no time. So I want to give this away. And what was the key word I picked for this one? Oh, no. Oh, no, I do remember. OK. For a second, I was like, I don't remember what it was. Are you ready to get your code word? So if you want to join the contest, remember, go into the description of this video. You'll find a link called the live show struck back or something like that. Click on the link. Put in your email address at the link. I need that so I can contact you. Your email will not be used for anything else. And put in the word limited as the keyword. Because I don't have unlimited copies. I only have a limited number of copies to give away. 1. All right, so limited, L-I-M-I-T-E-D, is the keyword, and we'll do a draw for this before the end of the stream. So you have time to enter and get this starter set, which I will send worldwide. So let's look at the table. So this is the second set that came out, and it's already out now. You can pick this up now. It introduces some new mechanics. I think I wrote down a couple of reminders to myself. So it introduces a bounty mechanic, which means that cards that come into play, you can now play these cards that are bounties that stick on top of the card or go with the card, and sometimes even boosts the card. Like you typically will put these on enemy cards. So it might give it a benefit in some way, but when you then defeat that card, you get a benefit for defeating it, which is I thought was kind of interesting. And you can also capture cards. That's a new thing. It's a very much like, it's called Shadows of the Galaxy. We get the Mandalorian, right? So there's bounties and bounty hunting and that sort of thing, right? Kirk says, question, did you answer my last question? No? I don't know, Kirk. Maybe not. I got to keep things moving, Kirk. Come on. We got to keep moving. I might get to your question, depending on time. There's also a smuggling thing that you can do. And smuggling is, I think, maybe one of the coolest things. I haven't tried this new set yet. I'm hoping to. I got some new cards. We'll open a couple of these packs just for fun. But you have resources in the game. Any card can become a resource. Like in Magic the Gathering, you have land cards. Well, that's not how it works here. And this is also not Star Wars Unlimited. This is Lorcana. But anyway, when you have a card, you can resource it. So you put it face down, then it becomes, so any card can become a resource or a land card in Magic to use, which is pretty neat. Normally, when these are face down, they have no function other than resources. Well, now, with this smuggle keyword, a card can be played from your resource row. You can go, I had a smuggler in here, and reveal it and do something with it, which I think is a clever way of building in another mechanic without having to strap on this whole new appendage to the game. The resource cards are already there. They're already face down. The other player doesn't know what it is, and you can be like, oh, I smuggled something in. I just think that's clever. And I mentioned capturing already. So before I open any packs, this star set came with some cool stuff from GameGenic. I will heap some praise on GameGenic right now. Again, no money changes hands here in terms of promoting this. I enjoy the game, happy to share this, sort of show it off, maybe intrigue you a little bit. Check out the tutorial video if you'd like to really educate yourself on what the game is. And then, if at that point you're like, that looks interesting to me, great, right? You've informed yourself. GameGenic makes just some of the best accessories. For my Arkham Horror the card game, a game I absolutely adore, I sleeved all the player cards. I don't sleeve cards anymore. Unless they're cards I use a lot and shuffle a lot, and this is a game I did that for. I got their binders. I got their binder sheets to put your cards in because I felt they were the best quality. I really like them. So they've made all kinds of accessories. They've partnered with a lot of the Asmodee and FFG games. There's a game mat here. What else? We've got player boxes from them. And also look at this. This I think this is signed by the dev team. I actually had the privilege of being able to play this with one of the main lead designers on the game at Canada Plays, an event I went to earlier this year. It's kind of an industry event in Canada. And what a wonderful gentleman, and so fun to play the game with. And what a match we had. It was bananas. It was really, really good. Let's open a pack, shall we? Let's just open a pack. Let's open a pack or two. And then let's do a draw. We can do the draw, right? Right? Yeah, we could do it. And we might even end this on time. We got 20 minutes. It's kind of fun to open a pack, right? But is it fun for you? I mean, let's be clear. It's not like you're opening the pack. So I won't open all these packs because I don't want to bore you. But let's just do, let's just do one. Okay. Unless you want more than one. You tell me. And while I'm opening this pack, I will just scroll up a bit just to see if I missed any questions. I probably did miss some questions. Hey, Elle, Fire Spray is here. Elle paints some of the most amazing miniatures. Like her skill is just incredible. She's so talented in this area. Elle, if you want, drop I don't know if you can drop a link. I don't know if it like block links, but give people a Google phrase to search for your work. People should check out what you do because it's impressive. Elle says, have you ever thought about doing a Watch It Played convention? I have, actually. Actually, sort of soft announced one years ago. And it got enough of a reception that I realized, oh no, like this is a real responsibility. Because some people were talking about potentially even traveling, and I'm like, oh man, like what if someone comes and doesn't have a good time? I got to put on a good time. And I realized this is more, if I was going to do this, I would want to do it right. And I would need like a team, like a volunteer team and everything else. And I'm not in a place where I can just easily sort of like just launch into that kind of major production right now. So actually partnering up with Aircon has been fantastic that way because they run a fantastic convention. Like just the way they run it, their hearts and minds in terms of what they want for that show and what the experience they want people to have, I think is just so perfect. And so being associated, Watch It Play being sort of formally and officially associated with them has been a great pairing because then they can do that and we can be there and be a part of the show in a more official capacity. Challenge with Aircon, of course, is it's quite a big hop, skip, and a jump across the pond. All right, so we got Bosk here. It's not zoomed in enough. Let's get a little closer, and maybe even a little closer. Let's see if that will focus decently. That's not bad, right? Tell me if that's okay. Hopefully it's all right. So here we go. We got Bosk. There's going to be a lot of commons, okay, on here. So like the really exciting stuff comes a little later. Oh, I should be looking for some of these like fun little keywords, So this one actually, this Bosk here, it's a leader. It says deal 1 damage to a unit with a bounty. So this one actually plays off of there being bounties in play. This pirate battle tank is a smuggle card. So when you resource a card, that's sort of free to do. But then when you want to bring it into play, it has its own separate cost. So you can just play this, right, like regularly for 6. Or you can hide it, bring it into your resource row, and then go, boom, I'm playing this. It costs 7 now. It says, if this card is a resource, you may play it for its smuggle cost. Replace it with the top card of your deck. So, and you don't lose the resource. So you replace the resource with the top card from your deck, which I suppose you could get lucky and it could be another smuggle card that you could play. So why would I want to even smuggle this in? It costs more as a smuggle than it does just to play it standard. Well, it's because, in a way, it's like when it goes into your hand, it's like you just add another card to your hand. It's sort of doing double duty there, which could be advantageous. Like maybe you're not ready to play 6 resources right now, but you will be ready to play like 7 resources a couple turns from now or whatever. So maybe it like makes sense to smuggle it in that way. This is why I don't want to teach strategy, the person who asked me earlier. Because that maybe is not true. Some of the cards are special. They have like borders that go all the way to the edges, like this, kind of hyperspace cards they call it. We got another smuggle card here as well, like so. All right, this one has a bounty, or no, it triggers off a bounty. On attack, if defender has a bounty, it gets a -4 for this attack. So this is an uncommon here, the first uncommon card we have. Then we have a jetpack. Here we can see the Mandalorian on there, or one of the bounty hunters. Attached to a non-vehicle unit when played, give a shield token to attached unit. At the start of the regroup phase, defeat that token. And you can also smuggle this one in. So you could reveal, hey, I have a jetpack, and attach it. Another uncommon card here, Salacious Crumb. And here is the rare, the Triple Dark Raid card. I'm not going to read this because, unless you're playing the game, it doesn't mean a lot to you. But there is the Mandalorian Warrior in foil, and it's a common card. So there you go, little unpacking there, little unpacking. Fun opening packs of cards, right? But the real fun has to come from playing, I think. I have a little bit of a collector bug that has reared its head in the past around TCGs of like, got to get them all. And I think I've gotten better at not feeling that same compulsion. What I really want is like some cards that work well with the deck that I want to make. Or to draft something. Let's open some packs and do a draft and like build our decks on the fly. It's got a great draft decking, sealed draft format for building a deck kind of on the fly. Okay, let's look at some questions. I think I might have answered your question already when Mike Games was asking about, do you pick and choose what games you want to do, how to choose for, or do you create them for all the games you've been approached to? No, I say no to a lot of games. And the main reason I say no, one is certainly a time consideration, but sometimes a game isn't the right fit. Sometimes, like if I've done a lot of games that are kind of a similar type, I might be like, well, I don't want to do a 5th dungeon crawl right now. I really want Watch It Played to be the sort of place where no matter your sort of interest in games, I'm an omni gamer, right? I love playing all kinds of different games, and I want people to feel like the channel doesn't just cater to one type of gamer. It's like, if you're into war games, you might find a war game on here. If you're into dexterity games, you might find a dexterity game on here. You're into Euro games, you might find a Euro game on here. And it's also a way, I think, to kind of cross-pollinate and help people find games they wouldn't maybe have otherwise found, by doing different types of games. All right. Sir Steve asked, does your interest/love for the hobby ever go into a lull? How do you deal with that with your career being so public? Well, I said this earlier. I feel fortunate. It's never gone into a lull. I think I can say that. Yeah, I don't think it's ever gone into a lull. Fortunate thing, right? I think that's part of it, though. That ties to the other question. Like, you just do every game that comes your way? No. Because if I just did every game that came my way, I think I would be miserable. I would still approach it professionally and do the best tutorial I could possibly do. But, like, it would be difficult to sort of like build I think there are easier ways to make money, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, and I would go do those things. And I don't want to be light either, because like the unemployment's a real issue. It's not easy to get jobs and careers and all that kind of stuff. But there would be easier ways to earn a living, I think, than doing that kind of work if you're getting, like, if you're not feeling any kind of creative fulfillment from it. You might think like, oh, teaching rules, how creative can that be? I feel like it's a very creative experience. Like reading through the rule book, trying to figure out how to like restructure it, reorder it, how do I present it in a way that hopefully makes the learning process easier. How do I improve as an instructor and teacher? All that kind of stuff, right? I loved being able to throw myself into that. And I'm able to do it with, I think, hopefully some passion, because I really want to be teaching the games I'm teaching. I really want to be. And I said this earlier, like not every game has to be the best game ever. So sometimes what my attachment is, okay, this is not a game that I personally, at this point in my gaming life, would be as drawn to. But if I had just started in the hobby, oh, this would be killer. Like, this would be amazing. Now I've played a bunch of games like this, so, the shine has worn off a little bit in that sense, but I appreciate what this game is and what it's doing, and I think this would be a great, like, maybe first game for a family, or for someone who likes tiling games, or someone who likes set collection games. And so I can still find, like, the passion and the drive in that, even though the game itself might not be like, whoa, this is like my top 10 favorite game, Does that make sense? I hope so. I hope some of this rambling makes sense. Now, have I ever like felt lulls as it relates to the work side of things? Sure. I think the biggest thing I've wrestled with is striking the right balance, because I love what I do. So that can be all-consuming. You can sort of like give yourself over to it quite easily when you're doing something that you enjoy and there are no fixed hours, that can be something you have to deal with sometimes. Okay. I'm going to assume this is a Monique question from Before You Play and on Watch It Played. What is your favorite animal? Elvis is listening. Christy, my wife, said, what they'd really like to see is Elvis. Elvis is my cat. I was not interested in having a cat, never liked cats, and I adore my cat. He won me over. We played hard to get with each other for quite a while, and I think now we're each other's favorite. So anyway, I love my cat, Elvis. Yes, I adore him, Monique. Monique got to see Elvis when they were here for our, the PEI live stream. Neil Pat asking, do you back games on Kickstarter or GameFound? I do, not as often. Not as often these days. I'm sort of content to like kind of wait till it releases at retail. I still buy far more games than I would say get because of the channel or whatever. I think it'd be different if I was a review channel. Because I do tutorials, I get the games that I'm working on, you know, but I can do at most like somewhere between 40 and 50 games a year if I go flat out. You know, think about it, there's 52 weeks in a year, it takes about a week to do a tutorial, so, you know, given that there's Christmas and other things that go on in your life, you know, if I get to 50, I'm doing pretty good. So, so most of the games I buy myself, you know, and I'm happy to wait till retail. There is a lot of fun and excitement that can come from being a part of a Kickstarter campaign, you know. I will say, Monique, you might remember off the top of your head, if you're still here, the name of the new Vital Lacerda game that's coming out. That's like, oh, it's got all that great like jazz and like Prohibition era art, like Unitools art all over it. I might back that just because I want to be a part of that project that way because it just looks so good. I've fallen down it's kind of a rabbit hole of jazz music of late. It's kind of all I listen to, and so it's sort of like perfect. It's kind of like the zone I'm in. I fell into a little bit of a vinyl and jazz rabbit hole. Because part of the work-life balance thing has been trying to find other activities, not because I don't love my work, but because I sometimes love my work too much, you know. And so finding other activities that kind of give me something, pull me away from it that I can still enjoy and very intentionally take part in. And making espresso and listening to vinyl has been two of those outlets that have been really helpful to me over the last year and fun. I said we're going to do a draw. Let's see how we're doing for time. We got 8 minutes left. Oh dear. There's something else I wanted to show. Now this is, if you'll indulge me, there is a online board game accessories creator that I think we connected over Instagram. I think I saw, I don't know, maybe it was on Etsy. I saw some of his work first. But custom components for Arkham Horror the card game, which is probably my most played game last year and maybe this year. And so he makes these custom components, and they are just gorgeous. And this is the newest set, and I wanted to give him a plug. Oh, and he did send me these. These were complimentary. I have certainly bought products from him as well, but he did send me a couple complimentary. He's consulted with me a couple of times, which has been nice to say, hey, what do you think about this? Do you think this would be a good fit, etc. These are metal components. If you played Arkham Horror the card game, these are metal components to replace what's in the Chaos bag. How cool is that? Now, there's lots of different ways to do it. You can use the card that comes with cardboard tokens, which are also perfectly fine. And some people put those in capsules. I did that in plastic capsules. But I have to say, like, this is pretty sweet. Like with the Cthulhu motif on the back. And if you're thinking, well, wait a second now, aren't there tokens from other sets that are custom? Yep, and he's got pieces for those as well. Oh, I should tell you up front, this is Tinkertown Games. Tinkertown Games. Bless and Curse tokens. He's done those, not just for Arkham Horror the card games. I want to like actually run over because I got Arkham set up from like remote playing it. And some of the other like Chaos tokens, Health tokens, they're just amazing. I should have put a link in the description of this video. I'll probably add it after the fact. But if you're looking for the website, tinkertowngames.com, and if you go to Etsy and search for that, you'll find it. The components are just beautiful. If you go on our channel, we did a tutorial video for a great game that came out this year called, boy, I'm getting kind of like reviewy, aren't I? Great game that came out. Veil of Eternity. Again, caveat, I was paid to do a tutorial video for that. I could have biases. I played the game a bunch. Really, I enjoyed it. Yeah, your mileage may vary. You might not like it. People like different things. Do your research. He made replacements for the money in the game, which I thought were really kind of a nice touch as well. For Star Wars Unlimited, he made some tokens and coins for that. He sent me something unexpected. I wasn't sure what these were, but I think this is, he's always making new things and new accessories, and I believe what this is meant to be is like a multiplier in like any game you're playing. So like if you run out of something, or like, I don't know, I guess you could put this in here and go, well, that's not a great example. No, it's 2 instead of 1. Or if you had a 5 in here, it's like 5 times 2, so this counts as 10. So if you're playing a game with resources, I'm thinking more like this could be something for like wooden components, and so like you say you have 10 meat carcasses and you don't want to have 10 pieces, there's like a times 10 token in here. So you put that out and you put one of the meat carcasses on there and you're like, okay, this represents 10. I thought that was clever. Something else he sent along that honestly I was like, when am I ever going to use this? This seems kind of dumb. And then didn't I a week later start using it? These. What are these, you ask? These are clips to hold together. It could be tiles in a dungeon crawling game that don't, like some tiles in dungeon crawling games don't like interlock. They're like they just butt up against each other. So you can build them in all kinds of different ways. So these are like little clips to put on the sides. But you know where I'm using it? I have a game called Downfall from GMT, this war game with this giant board. It's not one board, it's 2 boards. 2 giant, regular thickness, like game boards. And they just butt up to each other, which means they can slide and shift around. Not anymore. Put these little babies on there, clamp them on, and they stay together snug. I was like, oh, that's kind of clever. And they're nice looking, and they're a good quality component. Before this, I was using like, those like pinchy clip things like you get from a stationery store? What are those called? Somebody here knows what I'm talking about. Like the big black clamp with the silver arms, and you clamp it on, and then you can, anyway, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, I wanted to give them a plug, a little shout out, because I think they make really quality components. I don't think you'll be disappointed. But again, do your research, take a look at people's comments on the components, and if you think they're cool, then maybe order something. Because I like supporting people who are doing cool, creative things. Someone was asking earlier about starting a small business in the hobby. Well, I would say this is somebody who has a talent, they have a passion, they think of innovative ways to support a game that they know is popular. Smart. Okay. How are we doing for time? Let's do another draw because we are 2 minutes from being done. And I can say I got through all of the things that I sort of like said, oh, this would be fun for us to sort of show and look at. I didn't get to nearly all the topics I thought about discussing with you, and there's still questions that are waiting to go. But let's do the draw for this Star Wars Unlimited set, shall we? Let's draw another lucky winner, and then we can I'll let you all get on with your lives. Okay. I'm going to draw the winner right now. You know how this works. I'll hold this up, hit the little button. We'll get a little randomizer. This will pull one winner. Justin Erickson. Congratulations. You are the winner. You won the 2-player starter set. I hope you really enjoy this. Have a lot of fun with it. I hope you have someone you can enjoy it with. I just hit save. Justin, I hope you check your email. As soon as the stream's over, within a half an hour of that, hopefully, I'll probably do a little tidying here. Within the hour, let's say, I will have sent you an email. So please check your junk folder. Look for something coming from Watch It Played. And because it could go to junk, because if it picks up something in the message that says contest or supply your address, it could get flagged as spam, right? So I'll just be asking for your shipping address. That's it. And I don't keep any of that stuff. So just if you can provide that to me, I throw it in the mail, I ship it to you, and we're all set. Thanks for being here. Thank you for being here. Thank everyone for being here. I really, again, like part of what makes this enjoyable to do is the feeling that I'm with people and that we're talking together, we're sharing ideas. A lot of it sort of can feel one way because I'm obviously talking at you and you can't talk back to me, but I'm looking at the comments, I'm seeing what you're saying, and it really is a nice way to have a live experience together on the It's Live show. I had like other notes. I wanted to talk to you about like something I did this year. I rated my entire collection. I was saying earlier, I don't review games. I always feel a little weird about reviewing games, so I found a way to kind of rank my games that like really worked for my tastes and sensibilities. So maybe the next time we get together, I don't know when that will be, honestly. But Might get one in before the end of the year again. Maybe we'll talk about that. I wanted to talk a little bit about campaign games because I've had some success actually playing through legacy campaign games. That was fun. I would have probably gabbed your ear off a little more about vinyl and going down that rabbit hole. Cheating in games. I had a little story I wanted to share about that. The worst fight you had because of a board game. And I wanted to talk about great television you're enjoying because I am telling you, I started watching the show on HBO called Industry because a podcast I enjoy listening to called The Watch was raving about it. And I really like their opinion on a number of other shows. So I'm like, well, if they like this show, maybe I should check it out. Nothing about that show was I drawn to, like from the trailers and such. I started watching the first season, and it did not get its claws in me. I was like, it's good, like it's not bad, but it's not like I'm not like excited. In fact, this is like I'm not going to spoil anything. I'm going to say a tonal thing about the show. I hate spoilers, so you won't get a spoiler here. But to me, it's bad people behaving badly, and I have watched Succession, and I loved it. That's a show about bad people behaving badly. But that doesn't mean every show about bad people behaving badly is going to be a show I'm going to enjoy, right? And I didn't really enjoy the first season. But they were raving about this third season, so I'm like, I'll watch the second season. I started watching the second season. Not really enjoying it, honestly. And I'll tell you something. By the end of the second season, I was like, is this the greatest show I've ever seen? Like it really, and I don't know if it just beat me into submission, you know? And so I'm like, okay, fine, I like you. But I'm watching this season and I'm like, wow, this show is bananas. It's so good. And I think if I was to go back and watch the first season now, I'd probably enjoy it a lot. So anyway, hopefully I navigated avoiding spoilers and maybe inspired some of you to check it out. But this is a game I would not This is a show I would not recommend to people. There are shows I would recommend. Like I would say, you must watch show X. Or sorry, I hate that phrase, you must watch. No one must watch anything. Here's one I think a lot of people could enjoy. I don't think Industry falls in that category. So I think it would be a specific kind of taste. But boy, if you like that taste, whew, is this show a ride? Okay. What am I seeing here? I saw something about I thought I saw a question about one of the contests. I wanted to make sure. Okay, no, I think everything's fine. Everyone, thanks again for joining. I really enjoyed myself. I hope some of you enjoyed this. This was great fun for me. And until next time, thanks for watching. I don't remember how to end these things anymore. Goodbye, folks.